Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. I'm Kyle David. Let's get into it. Today, let's talk politics. Nobody's been talking politics recently, so I figured I would chime in. No, I'm kidding. But I do want to talk about some political things that you and I should be very frustrated with. And let's start right here. We'll start with the most tense things, Trump and Biden. I don't want to get into anything other than this. Joe Biden is 78 years old. If he becomes our president, he will be 82 after his first term. Donald Trump is 74 years old. If he gets into office again, in some crazy way, he's going to be 78 after his term. These two men are very old in the grand scheme of things comparatively to the population. My point being, 78 and 74, these are the two men out of 350 million citizens of this country, approximately. These are the two choices we have to lead us. That should upset us because I know some incredible people that could lead this country very well, and they are not near that age. So you're telling me we have to wait until the end of someone's life to then become the leader of our nation? Why wouldn't the young, bright minds be the ones leading the nation? So that leads me to the next point. The Senate and the Congress. We have so many representatives and Congress people and senators and again, just our political representatives in Washington who are serving 20, 30, 40-year terms. And then we pay them for the rest of their lives. That should upset you. That upsets me. Why is the majority of the people making the decisions for us old and able to profit and benefit off of holding a service position for decades? And here's the thing, let's get into it. Originally, the position of president, the position of senator or congressperson, almost all of our political positions were created to be service positions, in service to the people. You would leave your farm or whatever you did for a living or for a career, and you would go and you would serve in the Senate or the House. And you would serve, you would not be compensated. You would go serve your country, and then you would have your term would be done, and you would go home and you would keep working your farm or whatever your job was. But now we have what's called career politicians, people that get into this as a career, not to, maybe they got into it to serve their country, but they're quickly manipulated by money and power. And that's why these people want to serve 10, 20, 30, 40 years in that position, because they have power and they don't want to give it up to the next person. And they're making a lot of money through lobbying and basically selling their votes to big companies, pharmaceutical companies, huge corporations. We should be upset by that. Those are the people that represent us in Washington. But do they represent us? Do they? Does taking millions of dollars from a special interest group to vote a certain way, is that in our best interest? I don't care if you voted for Joe Biden or Donald Trump, or if you're a Republican or a Democrat. We should be upset by our representation in Washington, especially us, millennials, Gen Z, those people that are going to have to deal with the repercussions of the decisions being made by 78-year-olds and 74-year-olds that they can make whatever decision they want that's in the best interest of themselves, because they're moving on to heaven or hell or wherever they're going. They're moving on in the next few decades. We are the ones that have to deal with the repercussions of corrupt decisions by corrupt politicians who take money for themselves to vote a certain way in the best interest of big corporations, not in the best interest of us. Again, let's go backwards. These were originally created. America was set up structurally very well. Now, we can debate about the different points of, there was a lot of bad things America did, right? Like we really screwed over the Native American people, African American people. We did a lot of bad things, but let's not emotionally. The structure of governing was set up very well with, again, these positions, these people representing the people would go and have a service position, a term of a service position to go and help serve their country by being a senator or a congressman or whatever, and helping make laws for the people, you and I, and there weren't big corporations and special interests the way there are today. So those people actually cared about us, the people of the country. They went and they served and helped make decisions that would benefit us. That's no longer the case. And you and I should be upset about it. What's happening in Georgia right now, if you're not aware, is there's a Senate runoff to determine if the Republicans or the Democrats are going to take control of the Senate, to where if the Democrats win or the Republicans win, they will be able to have a lot of control over the laws that are made. And it's divided. If this side wins, they are going to make laws for their special interests. If this side wins, they are going to make laws to cater to their special interests and ideologies. That's not for you and me. Again, I am saying this not for no other reason other than to bring some light and shed some light on you and me should not be okay with the structure of leadership at the top of our country right now. We should not be okay with it. Here's the second thing that I think we should be very frustrated with, aside from the fact that you and I, the normal people, should be representing ourselves, not people that have been politicians for 30 years. They're out of touch with us, the common people. You can't tell me that Nancy Pelosi, who's been in office for decades, is in touch, and she's old, is in touch. She has a lot of power, if you don't know who Nancy Pelosi is. And she's not in touch with what I would like to happen in this country, with what you would like to happen in this country. She is in touch with what her and the top 1% of people and the top Democrats and the top politicians and the top corporate interest groups, she cares about what they care about, not what you and I care about. That's just one example. I just wanted to use Nancy because she's one of the bad ones. Think about this. Now let's go into the second thing I think we should all be frustrated about. There are millions and millions and millions of people out of work or have less work or have a business that isn't able to operate and make them money to pay their bills of no fault of their own due to COVID-19. The government sent out one stimulus package, and we should be grateful for that, but they need to do that. The government needs to take care of their own in some circumstances. I'm not a big proponent of tons of government spending. Unless it's necessary. No fault of our own. COVID hit and they needed to help. Now we realize that that was nice, but that wasn't enough help because there's states today going into lockdowns again for a second round, shutting down more businesses, putting more people out of work. I'm not going to comment on my opinions on whether or not I like the lockdowns. I don't support the lockdowns 90% of cases, but that's what's happening. So with that, there needs to be a second stimulus package. If you guys are tracking with me, we've had one stimulus package. And here's the frustrating part. They have been in talks, the Republicans and the Democrats, and these people that don't represent you and me very well, have been in talks about a stimulus package for months, since the beginning of the summer. Since the beginning of the summer, our politicians have been fighting back and forth over how they're going to get us a second stimulus to keep people from losing their jobs, to keep businesses from failing, to keep people able to have some type of money so they can keep their lights on and get food for their kids. Like, this is a real situation. Just because you aren't experiencing it, this is going on to millions of people, and it should frustrate the hell out of you that we haven't received a second stimulus and businesses haven't received a second business loan or a second business PPP or a second business stimulus, whatever we're going to call it. Businesses have not received more money for months and months and months and months and months and months, because these old career politicians who cater to big companies and to their own ideologies and what's best for them haven't just been like, we got to get money to the people, whatever, we have to agree. The reason you and I and the businesses that are failing and the people that are losing their jobs haven't received a second stimulus check from our government due to COVID-19, no fault of our own, is because the Democrats and the Republican leaders of our nation can't get along. That's why our nation is in terrible economic trouble right now. And there are millions of people that can barely pay their bills and what do they say? I don't want to put a number on it, but there's a huge percentage of people that aren't going to be able to pay their rent in December and aren't going to be able to pay their mortgages, and their business is going to have to shut down because these people at the top of our government who don't represent you and me and are doing a terrible job of representing you and me can't get along. Therefore, people have received $0. Whether you like Trump or not, before the election, Donald Trump said, put it on my desk, I'll sign it. $2 trillion approximately. And our friend Nancy, no, we don't like the language of the contact tracing. Nancy, shut the hell up. We don't care about your language of the contact tracing. Set a bill apart that gets money to the people, and then you guys can continue fighting about how else you're going to control people and help your special interest groups and your big corporations that pay you. Get money to the people. If you cannot tell, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated for me, but I'm frustrated for you, and I'm frustrated for the people of this country who have to continue to find some way to get money. Somehow, some people have no more options, and they haven't got a second stimulus payment. Again, no fault of their own, because these politicians are fighting back and forth over their different ideologies. And again, they could very easily do a standalone bill that is just a stimulus that includes nothing else. And it's just a stimulus to the people and the businesses. And then they continue to fight over the rest of the money, how they're going to do contact tracing and distribute the vaccine and all the other language that they hide in these bills. If you guys don't know, the first stimulus package and the second one that will come at some point are filled with things that are not just about getting money to the people. These politicians have slid in all kinds of things that, again, are going to help big corporations, are going to help the pharmaceutical companies, are going to help vaccines, and the companies that produce the vaccines make a lot of money. It's going to help whoever executes the contact tracing and has a contract for that is going to make a lot of money. There's a lot of language in these bills that has nothing to do with you and me. That's frustrating. And these are career politicians that originally, in the beginning of this nation, the job was to go and serve the people for a term or several terms, and then get out and refresh and let the next people come in. So this is how it should be working in Washington, according to the structure of how our country was set up. Every 4 years or 8 years or 6 years or 10 years or something within that window, there should be a turn in the House and the Senate and the leadership of our country, just like there is for the president every 4 years. And those people, the lawmakers, should turn. They should go home and get back to their regular jobs. And there should be a reset with fresh new faces, fresh new ideas. And that way, there would be, again, young people coming in, the people that represent the generation, not the 70s and 80-year-olds making decisions for the 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds and the 40-year-olds. No. There should be a reset of fresh faces to go in and serve a few terms. And that way, the power structure doesn't get cemented in, because there's new people coming in all the time, and they don't have relationships with the big corporations or the special interest groups or the pharmaceutical companies or Bill Gates and the vacciners and the people that are trying to make tons of money. That's what we need. But these people are dug in. That's why our Senate and our Congress and all of these lawmakers, a huge majority of them are very old, because they have dug in and they've made it okay for them to stay in that job for decades. The same people passing laws for decades is a terrible idea, because money is being handed to them all over the place. Hey, vote this way on this. Hey, pass a law so we don't have to pay taxes up here. Hey, pass this law so we can get a little tax cut over here. That's what's happening. Because they have created their own system to keep themselves in power. We always want to focus on the president, but not realizing that laws are not passed by the president. These lawmakers do not have our best interests in mind. If they did, we would have a second stimulus months ago. And that's just one example of it. But I'm frustrated. I'm sick of our lawmakers, and you should be sick of them too, because they are not doing the job they are put there to do, which is represent us and pass laws for us that are in our best interest. Our meaning all of the American people. Our lawmakers are not up there fighting and doing their best to represent us, the normal American people. And that should frustrate the heck out of you. Whether you voted for Trump or Biden, that doesn't matter. You should be frustrated with everyone. Almost all the Republicans and the Democrats, the majority of them that have been there for decades, you should be upset with them. You should be upset that they put them in a position to stay in those jobs for decades and collect millions of dollars on the side by getting paid to vote certain ways, not to vote for you and I. I'm fired up, man. I'm sick of it. I'm going to get involved in politics. I've already told plenty of people. I'm going to get involved in politics. You should think about it, pray about it. If God puts it on your heart or it becomes a passion of yours, you should get involved in politics. And we need to get these people out of here. I don't want to go serve 40 years in the Senate or the House. I want to go do a 8-year term and make some good changes, serve my country, serve you guys, and get on out of there and let it reset to the next young leaders. It's very frustrating that a 78 and a 74-year-old are our two options to lead this country. Out of 350, 60, 70 million people, I know there are hundreds of thousands of well-qualified 40, 50, 60-year-old leaders that would do a much better job. That's just the facts, man. That just is what it is. Those of you that are just die hard Trump, he's the only savior for this country, he's the only hope we have, or die hard Biden, he's the only way that we can fix these issues. Yeah, that's incorrect. These are the two choices we were given. You can't tell me these are the most brilliant, bright minds, the best leaders, the most loving, compassionate people that care about us. You can't tell me those two are the top two out of all the people. The system is broken. I repeat, the system is broken. The system is broken and we have to fix it. What comes after this in the coming years, if we don't fix the system, it gets worse. How this plays out is it continues to get worse, where the top 1% continues to siphon up more and more power, and it would eventually get to a point where it would be the top 1%, which would be the uber rich, and the politicians would be up here, and everybody else would be way down here. The middle would evaporate, and it's already happening, and it's going to continue to happen because these people in power are not doing their job, which is to make sure that this country is represented the best the way that they can, and is represented in a way that helps the normal people the most. Right now, the laws that are being passed, the majority of them are not to help the normal people the most. I repeat, the system is broken. We have to fix it. We should all be frustrated, whether you support Black Lives Matter or you don't, or you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, or you're a masker or a no masker, or a vacciner or a no vacciner. None of those things matter when it comes to all of us. Okay, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to be insensitive. All those things matter. But I'm saying we could all agree. We could disagree on these things, but all agree like these politicians are not doing what's best for us. None of them. We need to fix it. And there are some young people that are getting involved in politics that I've seen, and I'm not going to name names, but they're going to make a name for themselves because they're getting involved. But we need young, good leaders that care about people, that don't care so much about money, that care about people and want to get up there and get in Washington. And I'm going to use Donald Trump's term, whether you like him or not. It doesn't really matter. The term is great. We need to drain the swamp. Washington is a swamp of nasty, slimy people, and we need to get them out of there. We have to, for you and me, not for the Republicans, not for the Democrats. We need to get all these filthy people out of Washington because they are doing America a disservice. They're doing you a disservice. They're doing me a disservice. They're doing your family a disservice. They're doing everyone you know right now that doesn't have a job or is struggling financially. They're doing those people a disservice. They only care about themselves. I'm not speaking for every single one, but a majority of them in their actions have shown that. Here, we're going to use some of the things that have happened during COVID to show you how bad the leadership is in Washington. And when I say Washington, I just mean the government at the top. Okay, we know Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, some of the strictest lockdowns in the country, caught multiple times not following his own orders. How can we respect someone that's going to say, you have to shut down your business. You can't run a business. Anywhere you go, you need to wear a mask. You need to socially distance. As he doesn't socially distance, as he's busted not wearing a mask and going out to a normal dinner with a big group of people, how are we supposed to respect that and listen to that? The mayor of Denver, Colorado, my home state of Colorado, the mayor of Denver, pleading with people to cancel their Thanksgiving plans, to do Thanksgiving through Zoom, to not see their family. I have a friend who stayed home in Denver. I have a friend in Denver who stayed home on Thanksgiving, didn't go see his family. Him and his dog did Thanksgiving together. And then come to find out that this mayor that was telling everybody, we have to lock down, you can't see your family, you can't gather in groups for Thanksgiving. This man, the mayor of Denver, hopped on a plane and went to see his family for Thanksgiving. After he told you and the entire population that he is the leader of to not see their family on Thanksgiving, he went and saw his family on Thanksgiving. And then he apologized. And you know what he said? I had to make a decision as a husband and a father. So what about the other husbands and fathers? They're not allowed to make their own decisions? How are we supposed to respect these people that tell us we must do these things, but they're not going to do these things? And I'm not saying these are things we shouldn't do. I'm saying the hypocrisy of our leadership in America during 2020 has been exposed. If you weren't already aware of it, now you are, I hope. We have governors in Oregon telling people to call the police on their neighbors if they're gathering with more than 6 people. I guarantee she went and gathered with her family. You cannot trust these politicians or these leaders. Watch their actions. Don't listen to what they're saying. Watch their actions. Gavin Newsom is an embarrassment to this country. He's a horrible leader. He should be ousted. He should be removed from his position for what he's done. The mayor of Denver should be removed from his position for what he's done. Hypocrisy. And we see it. I could go for another hour of leaders in 2020 during COVID who have put in place mandates and restrictions that they have not themselves followed. If you don't know about Nancy Pelosi going to get a haircut with no mask on, after she has been one of the biggest proponents of you must wear a mask. If you love people, you wear a mask. But I'm not going to wear a mask. We need to get these people out of here. Again, whether you're Republican or Democrat, there's people on both sides that are doing a terrible job. They're hypocritical leaders. They're the definition of hypocrisy, saying one thing, doing another. Those are the people we trust to lead us, that we continue to vote for. We continue to vote for people that their actions show they're not for us. Gavin Newsom is not for you. Nancy Pelosi is not for you. The governor of Oregon is not for you. The actions have spoken. The mayor of Denver is not for you. Go read his apology. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. He did a terrible, terrible job of leading after that. If you're going to say that, that's fine. You must also be held to the same standard. I hope you people are feeling me. It's because I love you. It's because I love the people of this country. I love the people around me. I love my family. I have my friends. And they should not have to be led by these people that only care about themselves and their little clique and their little club of uber rich people or uber powerful people. We should not be happy with the way our government is working right now on all levels. The president, the Senate, the Congress. We should not be happy with the majority of these people. Again, why is the president only allowed to serve 2 terms, 8 years max, but senators can be in there 40 years? Dr. Fauci can be over there at the head of the institute for almost 40 years. You don't think power got infected in those people at some point? Again, some of them could have started out with the pure heart of just wanting to help. Power gets you. Money gets you. These people have been serving decades in leadership. Their actions speak for you. You can read. Go research. If you think I'm full of crap, go research. Go read what these people have done over these long careers. Again, whether you like Joe Biden or not, this man, decades and decades and decades of leadership and decades and decades and decades of corruption. You can track it. You can track it. You can go read about it. Whether you like what I'm saying or not. Again, I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the savior either. The guy, you could track corruption with that guy too. I'm telling you. Go read about it. These are not our saviors. We've put so much. Our nation has divided almost religiously under Donald Trump and Joe Biden as if these men can save us. Guys, the system has been broken. We must fix it. Or what comes after is not pretty. What comes if we continue to let this broken system rule us is not pretty. It's not pretty for any of us. It's pretty for them. It's not pretty for you and I and hundreds of millions of normal citizens, the 99% who aren't the 1%. It doesn't get prettier from here. If we continue to allow this system of governing and these lawmakers to stay up there forever and ever and just keep the power and then do whatever they want for their own benefit, it gets ugly. It's happened in other nations over and over. History repeats itself. Do some research. Go look what happened in Venezuela. Go read about the governing system in Brazil. And that's recent history. You could go back farther and talk about Germany and the USSR, the Soviet Union. I mean, you can look at modern day China. You can look at past China. If you go and do some research, you can see what happens when all of the power gets positioned at the top, and there's no longer representation for the people. You can go look, go read about history. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Go research for yourself what's happened in nations where the lawmakers and the governance has been corrupted with power, money, and greed, and they no longer represent the people. Go read about what happens. We're headed in that direction. It's not because of the Republicans or the Democrats. It's because of the people in power, Republicans and Democrats, and us who have been asleep. We have to admit this. For the past 50 or 60 years, voters in America have been asleep. We just kind of go and we vote down the one side or we vote down the other side. And we don't hold our leadership accountable. We have to hold them accountable. How do we do that? We have to reform the laws. How do we reform the laws? We get involved. We get involved. We go in there. We get into the House. We get into the Senate, the normal people, and we change the laws and put term limits on them and put laws that hold them accountable, where there are consequences when they don't represent the people, or they are caught taking money from special interest groups, or they are caught taking money from the pharmaceutical companies. They are caught taking money from foreign governments to pass laws that will benefit foreign governments in our own nation. There should be consequences for that. There's documentation. We have documentation of multitudes of politicians taking money from foreign governments, from special interest groups. We know it. You go research. Don't listen to me. Go research it. Go research how Bill and Hillary have made so much money. Corruption, factual corruption. You can go look it up. If your mind is open to see it, it's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about corrupt politicians. Go see all the money these people have made and how they made it. I'm just saying, the system has been broken and we have been asleep to it. And I hope that 2020 has woken us up to, we have to do something. We have to do something about the people that are governing us and the way they are governing us. We should not be happy about it. You should not be happy that there is not a second stimulus package passed and in your hands simply because the powerful don't agree on how they can maintain power. Terrible. Again, there should be one standalone bill, stimulus to the people, should have happened months ago. And then they can fight about the other ways they're going to pass laws to benefit themselves. Because that's what the reason we don't have a second stimulus package is because they're fighting about ways that they can put things in the bill that will benefit themselves and the people they represent, which is not us. That's why there's not a second stimulus package. Nancy, Chuck, Mitch, to name a few. Guys, we should not be okay with what is happening and the way we are being governed. These people are making laws, passing laws, and doing things that are going to affect us in a negative way, and they win because they're making money and they have power. We should not be okay with that. Republicans, Democrats, independents, libertarians, all of us should be united against the corrupt politicians that are passing laws in this nation currently, today. We should not be okay with it. We should throw them out. We should fire them, get them out of here, refresh, reset. There needs to be younger people, fresh, brilliant minds need to be passing laws and representing the people, not old people with cognitive decline and desires for money, power, and other weird things. We should not support those people. We should not let them represent us anymore. So I hope this has gotten you fired up, or I hope you're hearing me and tracking with me. Again, this is not about my political views versus your political views. It's us versus corrupt politicians, us versus corrupt leadership. Somebody has to stand up. There has to be a revolution. I'm not saying it has to be a physical revolution or war, but there has to be a revolution where we say we're sick and tired of it. You are not our leaders anymore, and we will get you out. And some of us will go and we will get involved and we will become the leaders, and we will pass laws for the people, not for the special interest groups, not for big corporations, not for power for ourselves or money for ourselves. I don't give a crap about money. I don't give a crap about power. I don't. I'm going to go get money. I'm going to get power, and I'm going to use it in a good way for you and for me and for my family and for my friends and for the American people. Because that's not happening right now. And we should be pissed. We should be pissed that these people lie to us consistently, left and right. They lie to us consistently. Watch the news. They lie to you consistently. Fox News lies to you. CNN lies to you. CNBC lies to you. ABC lies to you. See, all of the news organizations, watch them. They lie to you. They give you truth mixed with lies. You can't tell the difference eventually. We should be fed up with all of this. All of it. All of it. We should be fed up with the media that feeds us lies and the politicians that feed us lies and misrepresent us and do what's better for them than what's better for us, even though their job is to represent us. We should be sick of it. There must be a revolution. There must be a revolution of some type, a political revolution. In my mind, it's already began. So I would hope that you guys will join me and do what we can. When you vote next time, when you think about these people, when you think about Joe Biden and you think about Donald Trump and you think, oh my God, thank God Joe won, he's going to save us. He's not going to save you. Do some research. The man is more for himself than he is for you. Disagree or agree if you want. Again, these people are doing, I'm not saying everything they do is just horribly evil. But the majority of stuff they're doing is not to benefit you and me. I guarantee it. I promise you. Do some research. Read about some policies these people have passed over decades. Read about it. It's not for us. It's not for us. Everybody wants to get mad about why Donald Trump only paid $750 in taxes, which we don't know. But here's the thing. You can blame Donald Trump all you want, but if you had that type of money and you were able to take advantage of the tax system and not pay taxes, you would too. So the problem is not Donald Trump taking advantage of the tax system like every other person with a lot of money. I know people that have a lot of money that are like, look, these are the tax laws. I'm going to take advantage of it. It's not my fault. Guess who put those tax laws in place? These lawmakers that have been there for decades. These lawmakers that have been there for decades put the tax laws in place so that people like Donald Trump or people like Jeff Bezos and Amazon, these big corporations, can circumvent certain tax laws or circumvent paying certain taxes. It's lawful because the lawmakers passed the laws to benefit the rich and the corporations. That's why we have these laws where people are so frustrated that they see that people like Donald Trump didn't pay a lot in taxes. Who passed the tax laws? The people that are lawmakers that have been there for decades, that have been dug in with power and with money, and now they are passing laws, not for us, but for the rich and for the corporations. We should be pissed. I understand why people are mad that Donald Trump didn't seem to pay very much in taxes. Again, we don't know. We haven't seen his taxes. I try to be very cautious about hopping on these bandwagons of things we find out on the internet. But if Donald Trump only paid $750 in taxes, we should be pissed. And whether you like Trump or not, it's not his fault. He didn't write the tax laws. These people that have been lawmakers for decades wrote the tax laws. Joe Biden played a part in that. Again, I'm not totally anti-Biden or totally pro-Trump. I have a lot of differing views on a lot of things, but I am anti-corrupt politicians. 100%. And the people that pass the tax laws that are benefiting Joe Biden and Donald Trump, we should be upset to the highest degree with these people. We need to get them out. The lawmakers are the most important politicians up there. More important than the president, in my opinion. The lawmakers, the people that are passing laws that affect us, that don't benefit us, that benefit the top. We should be sick of it. And I think most of you are, and I am too. I'm with you. So I want to end this in a united way is, guys, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian or a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter or however you feel about any of the issues that have arisen in 2020, let's agree on this. We are sick of corrupt politicians in this country affecting us negatively while the people at the top get all the benefits. We should be sick of it. We should all agree a revolution in policy and in politics has to happen. We have to take back the power as the people. We are the ones that are supposed to run this country. They're supposed to just represent what we want. And I know the African-American people are hearing me. They are supposed to represent you and what's best for you. Privatized prisons, who wrote those into law? The same politicians. We should not be okay with what's going on. Let's all agree We can disagree on issues, but let's all agree that the biggest issue is that we are not represented. Black people, white people, the low class or the middle class, or people that are not part of the 1%, we are not being represented well by our leaders. And we're sick of it. All of us are sick of it. And we want a revolution politically. We want a political revolution. Again, I don't mean get your guns and take to the streets. I mean, get involved. We need to get involved. I commit to getting involved in the coming years. And if you feel that you should get involved, I'm not saying you have to. Again, in 2020, when people say, you have to do this, you have to do that, you don't have to. But I would say, find people that are not these big time, find people your age. If you're in your 20s and your 30s, there are people that represent your ideas that are getting into politics. Find those people, support those people. Support people like me and many others that are going to get involved in politics in the coming years. And we will revolutionize politics in this country, or we'll die trying. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're sick of it. And it's for you, and it's for me, it's for your family, it's for my friends, for your friends, for the people around you. We're all being misrepresented by most politicians in Washington, and it has to stop. So I love you guys. Thanks for listening to this one. I know that this was intense maybe for some of you, but we have to shed light on it. We have to talk about it. We cannot continue to just stay silent as these people clamp down on us and leave us behind and just take care of the 1% in themselves. We can't allow that anymore. So I love you guys. I'm passionate about helping you guys. I'm passionate about helping this country correct course, because we're headed in a bad direction. We've let bad people get into power, and we have to stop it. So take action however you can. Support people you believe in politically. Support people that you believe support you. No more 78 and 74-year-olds as our options. Let's be done with that. Where are the young? Where are the 45 and the 50-year-olds? The people that are brilliant and in their prime of life. Those people need to represent us. There needs to be term limits on these people. You can't stay there for 40 years. There have been generations and generations of people that have come up while you've done the same job. No. We're sick of it. So anyways, I'm going to stop repeating myself. I love you guys. We have to take back the power. We, the people, are supposed to have the power. We, the people, meaning everybody, black, white, immigrants, all of us, we are supposed to have the power in this country, not them. They're supposed to represent us. Let's take back the power. I love you. Have a great week. Thanks for bearing with me. If I said something that you disagree with, please send me a message somewhere, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, and let's talk about it, because I'm about solutions. I'm not about pointing out the problems. I've done enough of that right here. We know the problems. Let's fix them now. Let's find some solutions. So if you disagree with me on anything, feel free to hit me up. I'd love to have a conversation. If you're inspired by something I said, or you want to know how to get involved more, hit me up. Let's talk about it. Let's build a coalition of people that have the same mindset, that we want to take back the power and we want to make the decisions for us. We don't want to continue letting them make the decisions for us. So again, I love you guys. This is it. That's all I'll say. I'm done. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Mwah.